Yeah, welcome in the show here on the Dutch program Delfsblauw.
Thank you so much. This is so exciting.
How are you?
I'm really good, except it's 4:30 in the morning in Canada.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I wake you up at middle of the night.
Yeah. Well, now it's morning. It's okay. I should wake up anyway.
Okay. The reason that you have invited to the program is the latest single, "Pretty Little Things."
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a new single.
Yeah, it's a beautiful single.
Thank you very much. I was so excited when you contacted me because sometimes you don't know, these days, any song, it can go international and people contact you from all over the world. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. Before I start the conversation, I was still playing The Secret Garden. It was a different auto single.
Yeah, I think that one's more a little bit pop rock, but where Pretty Little Things, it's really, more country. So, yeah, it's different styles, and the meanings of the song is very different, too.
Yeah. And now, this is your second single?
Yes, it's the second single, and in August I'll be releasing an EP. It's about 6 songs. So these 2 songs will be on there, The Secret Garden and Pretty Little Things, plus some more new stuff coming out too.
For the listeners, you were born in the Middle East, but you growing up in Canada.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was born in Lebanon, and I came to Canada when I was 8 months old. So I grew up here. I spent most of my life here, but then I ended up moving back to the Middle East myself, and I lived there for several years in Amman, Jordan.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting too, where we have Petra, the Dead Sea, and so, it was interesting to see a different kind of life. And then 4.5 years ago, I came back to Canada, to Toronto, and this is when I got back into music.
Yeah. How did you end up in Canada?
Now, when I came back a second time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because, it was interesting to live in the Middle East. I had a wonderful time. It was a great experience. But I also have 2 kids, and I really wanted them to experience living here as well, where I grew up. So 4.5 years ago, I decided, okay, it's time for them to see another, part of the world.
Yeah. Why the choice for your music that is the style of country and pop?
Well, it's funny because when I was younger, I really listened to a lot of kinds of music, but I was a big fan of the rock music, so Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and the Scorpions, Metallica, this kind of stuff. And when I first started doing the music, this was the kind of music I wanted to do. But when I started working with my producer now, he's in Los Angeles, and he's actually the guitarist for Sebastian Bach. His name is Brent Woods. And, he encouraged me to really discover who I am and not just try and do something because it's the kind of music that I like, but to do something that's who I am. And this is what I started writing, is more country music.
The person Axl Rose has been an important person for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
He's the reason that for me, he's the reason that I wanted to be a performer.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw Guns N' Roses, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And to me, it was exciting. And the way he performed on stage, plus the music, was just incredible. And, even now, all these years later, the reason I started doing music, even though it's something I always wanted to do, I didn't do it because I had kids and, I didn't want to, I had to focus on having my children. All these years later, a few years ago, it was my birthday, and I remember telling everybody, I really want to meet Axl Rose. This is what I want for my present for my birthday. And people said, you're crazy. How are you going to meet Axl Rose? But I flew to Los Angeles, and I found out where he lives, and I was driving to the house, and maybe 2 minutes away from the house, he was walking in the street. So I got to meet him and I talked to him, and it was incredible. It was amazing.
2 years ago, 2017, did you start?
No, this was
did you start starting with the first EP, Spellcasting?
Yeah, and that one was more hard rock, and so that was my first try at doing, writing my own songs, and I'm very proud of it. It's something that was something I wanted to get out of me because I'm a big fan of hard rock. And on that one, I worked with a different producer here in Canada. His name is John Angus MacDonald, and he's from a famous Canadian band called The Truth. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, it was hard rock music, and that was the first EP that I put out in 2017.
Yeah. I read it. Have you also a performance in Brazil?
Yes, yeah. After I put out that EP, I had become friends with some musicians from Brazil. They were in Toronto doing a show, and I really loved them. It's very heavy music, rock music, and we became friends. And then when I did my EP, I sent it to them, the guitarist, his name is Rodrigo Vegetal, and he loved it. And so he said, listen, we're doing a festival in Brazil. How would you like to come play?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, sure.
That's Festival Coma.
Yes, Festival Coma. It was the first year they were doing this. And it was fantastic to go to Brazil, and see Brazil. So it was amazing.
Okay. And now you have started writing for a full album.
Yeah, right now I'm going to be releasing an EP, but we're going to eventually release a full album of songs. Mm-hmm. But I did want to release something now because, you don't want to spend too much time. Sometimes writing a whole album, it could take over a year. So, but I'm excited to release some music now. So I'm probably going to put out the EP in August.
Yeah. What inspires you when you're writing?
Like anybody else, I think love. But it's different kinds of love. It's not just love man for a woman. It's also loving yourself. And these two songs that you heard, The Secret Garden and Pretty Little Things. The first one, The Secret Garden, it's all about going inside of yourself and going inside your own soul and to discover who you are. And sometimes that's when you discover the most beautiful things about yourself, is when you are true to yourself.
Tell about us about the single Pretty Little Things.
Mm-hmm. So that song is really my story. For a very long time, I wanted to do music. And even when I was younger, I had told my parents, this is what I want to do. And being in a Middle Eastern household, my parents were quite strict. And they said, no, this music business, it's not good. You shouldn't be doing this. And really, they said, no, we don't want you doing this. And I didn't. I, ended up having my family, grew up, and years later, it wasn't until recently that I decided, this music and love for music never left me, and I have to do something about it. And this is when I started following, what I believe to be my real path, what I should be doing in life. And since then, it's just been incredible, and, I'm so happy for it. So Pretty Little Things is about discovering the beautiful things in life when you just follow whatever your destiny is and what you should be doing.
The listeners can find all information on your website is www.suzykory.com.
Yeah, you can find everything there, some nice photos and music videos and the song. So, that's the perfect place to go.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you for this conversation middle of the night in Canada, in the morning here, in Spain and in Holland and Belgium.
Will, thank you so much. It's my honor to be on the radio with you, and this is fantastic. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, a final word from you to all listeners, and I go starting the single. Pretty Little Things.
I hope you like the song. You know, it's all about living for the moment. It doesn't matter where you've gone in your life. Starting right now, you can follow the path that you want to follow. So thank you for having me on this radio station. I hope you all love the song, and I love all of you.
You have a good, fine day. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Wait.